Okay. Greetings, folks. This is Brian Harris with the Independent Black Voters. Our vote is not free. We are nonpartisans looking to talk to any candidate that is willing to talk to us about the issues in our community. Today, I'm happy to have Stovas Anthony, who is running for commissioner for District C. Is that correct? Am I saying it right?
Clark County Commission, District C.
Clark County Commission, District C. He's here. I'm going to have him start off like we do. Tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us why you're running for the seat and a little bit more of what the seat actually does. Because many of us, while we hear the name, we really don't know what the responsibilities are.
Well, first of all, Mr. Harris, I want to thank you for inviting me on this Zoom call to talk to your group of independent Black voters. I very much appreciate it. So let me tell you about my background. I grew up outside of Detroit, Michigan, went to Wayne State University, graduated from there with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I decided I wanted to be a police officer, but in 1980, the economy was very bad in Detroit, so nobody was hiring police officers. I was 23 years old, and it was kind of a time to get out. I've been living at home just to save money to pay for my tuition. So Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department happened to be hiring at that time, so I came out here. I tested. I went back. I was looking for some other cities until they called up and said the police academy starts in 3 weeks, you're hired, so come on out. So I moved out here in 1980, joined the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, had a great 29-year career with them. I spent my first 10 years as a police officer, 5 years as a sergeant, 10 years as a lieutenant, and my last 10 years I was a captain. I retired in 2009. So in between that 29 years, went back to UNLV, got my master's degree. I went back a few years later, got my PhD in sociology. Shortly after I came out here, I went back to Detroit and married my wife of 40 years. Obviously, she came back with me. I have 2 grown daughters. The oldest one's married with 2 of my grandkids and a third one on the way. I also went to the FBI National Academy, graduated from their 10-week leadership school at Quantico, Virginia. I went to the Southern Police Institute of Leadership in Louisville, Kentucky. I ended up running for the Board of Regents twice, which is the governing body for the Nevada system of higher education, or colleges and universities. I ran for my first term and won, ran for my second term and won. And then in the middle of my second term in 2009, when I was a captain with Metro, the opportunity came up to run for the Las Vegas City Council. Ward 4 was an open seat. Larry Brown was the councilman, and he had just won election to the Clark County Commission. So I ran for that office, ended up winning by 10 votes. So want to tell everybody, every single one of your votes counts. So please go out and vote when the elections come up. I ran for my second term, I received 78% of the vote. I ran for my third term and received 76% of the vote. I am in my third term. I'm currently the mayor pro tem for the city of Las Vegas, as well as representing Ward 4. And again, the opportunity has come up to run for the Clark County Commission. It's an open seat. Larry Brown has served District C for the last 12 years, and he is termed out. So I am running for the Clark County Commission, District C. Interesting part is the Clark County Commission, or I'm sorry, the Las Vegas City Council award elections are nonpartisan. So you don't have a political party next to your name. For Clark County Commission races, you do have a political party next to your name. So I am the Republican nominee. I did not have a primary. No one else filed against me in the Republican Party. So I am the official Republican that's running for the Clark County Commission District C, and the Democrats had a primary. There were 6 of them, and individual run. So I'm running against him for the Clark County Commission and the elections in November. District C, basically the Clark County is divided up into 7 districts. I am running for District C. My entire ward that I currently represent is in District C. It's the northwest part of the valley. So if you basically start at Charleston, West Charleston in 215, and you head east on Charleston until you get to Decatur, go north on Decatur up to Rancho, take Rancho all the way north, all the way to Indian Springs, and you come back down, you go through Indian Springs, you go through Coal Creek, you go through Mount Charleston, and you come all the way down along 215 and back to West Charleston. That's basically District C. So if you live in Summerlin, Desert Shores, Sun City, Summerlin, Painted Desert, Centennial Hills area, as I mentioned, all the way up to Indian Springs, you have the opportunity to select your Clark County Commissioner, and I am working very hard to let people know who I am and what I stand for and what I want to do on the Clark County Commission, which is basically what I want to do on the Las Vegas City Council. It's local government. So I'll leave it at that and let you ask any questions to fill in the blanks.
Great.
Oh, I lost your audio. Sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm right here now.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Mr. Anthony, I want to thank you for coming on. As the independent Black voters, many times both Republicans and Democrats do not want to talk with us, even though many of the overall races are determined by independents. Many people don't want to talk other than to people that are like-minded. So I thank you for coming in here and talking to us, because again, when you talk, maybe you find out some differences, and maybe you find out some things that you thought weren't true, or maybe you confirm them. So I wanted to start off that. We as independent Black voters are nonpartisan. We talk to everybody. I tell people not to vote a straight ticket. Vote for the people that listen, vote for the people that do. So without that, with that going on, I'm going to come in and I'm going to start off, obviously being on city council, there's been a lot of things going on between the coronavirus, between the protests for social justice. It's been a crazy year, and with you being in the seat of city council, you get firsthand look at some of those things. Also, as you said, you have a strong police background. So again, there's probably some beliefs and values that we want to talk about. So I'm going to let you tell me as we go forward, just your thoughts about where we are now, your thoughts about what's going on, and even your thoughts about what we need to do as people to come together.
Well, you know, that's a great segue, because you're absolutely right. I mean, we seem to be divided, and I don't, you know, not everybody goes through this, but Republicans and Democrats and independents and race and ethnicity and religion, we seem to talk a lot about that. But I really don't spend a lot of time on those divisions. I really look at people as Americans, as residents of the city of Las Vegas, as residents of Clark County, and even though we are a diverse population, it's my job, and I take this very seriously, is to meet with everybody to find out what is it that you all are concerned with what's happening in Southern Nevada. So the independent Black voters, I need to spend some time with you to find out what is it that what's important to you when it comes to local government, because that's what we're talking about here. That's what that's what the elections that I'm running for are about. It's not Washington, D.C. It's not Carson City. It's strictly local government. What's important to the Asian community? What's important to the Hispanic community? But really, what's important to your particular neighborhood? And really, what I found out from talking to people is everybody's number one priority, I don't care who you are, is public safety. People want to live in a safe neighborhood. They want to be able to take their kids to a safe park. They want to be able to take their kids to a safe school. They want to be able to drive around their community and go to the grocery store and not be a victim of a crime. They want to be able to walk around and talk to their neighbors and talk to other people in the community without being harassed by somebody. So what I take seriously is when you or anyone walks out their front door, I want them to look around and say, you know what, I'm proud of my neighborhood. I'm proud of my community. And I want to make sure that I hold local government accountable to make sure that our roads are in great shape, that our neighborhoods are graffiti free, that people don't have junk cars parked all over the roads to really cause our neighborhoods to go south, that we have a great police department that is fighting crime, but it's accountable to the people. And when you brought up the police department, that's a big issue today, and I understand that there's a lot of social justice issues that are being discussed right now. We've had a lot of peaceful protests, and I think it's great when people come together and come down to City Hall and have a peaceful protest and talk about what's important to them, what they want changed, what they see their police department doing right, what they want to criticize the police department about, or City Hall or the county commission. I mean, we learn from those interactions. What we can't tolerate, what I'm not going to tolerate, are violent protests where people go to the street and start burning cars and shooting at police officers and causing disruption in our community. We can't have that. That doesn't help anybody. But these peaceful protests that we've had, and a lot of them are at our city council chambers. People have come down to our city council and made some very, very interesting public comment about what they want to see in their community. Not just because what's happened recently with this, obviously the tragedy with George Floyd, that was unbelievable what happened to him. That was a completely unbelievable excessive force. It's criminal. Those officers are being prosecuted right now. But it's really, it's my job to work with the community, find out what's important to them. And like I said, public safety is always at the top of the list. Transportation is a big issue. People that own small businesses, they want local government to interact with them and be in a position where they're supporting them. They're keeping taxes low. They're keeping fees low. They're keeping regulations low so they can open up a business, grow their business, put more people to work. That's what local government does. And another big deal that local government is involved in is growth. We have to make sure that we plan growth. People are moving to Las Vegas. They're not going to stop. And we have to make sure that we have these planned communities where zoning is what it should be, where developers are developing communities and our standards to make sure that they're the top of the standards. So that's what I've done on the city council for the last 12 years, and that's what I plan on doing on the county commission. I plan on doing exactly what I've done. I spend time today in Ward 4. I spend time in Sun City, Desert Shores, Painted Desert. I go to HOA board meetings. I go to people call me up and say, hey, can you come? We're having a get together in our neighborhood. Can you come and talk to us? I can't count how many of those I've gone to, because that's my primary job, is to go out there and talk to folks and and listen to what they have to say. And it's not Republican, Democrat. It's not based on really from my 12 years on the city council. It's not based on anything but, we're Americans and we love this country and we love being in Las Vegas and we plan on living here and we want to make sure we have a great neighborhood to live in. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay, thank you. I want to start off to hear your thoughts, and you gave them to me, and I appreciate it. And I'm glad you say that you want to find out, because in the Black community, and I'm only one segment, I do not speak for all of Black America. Let me say that first. I speak for a segment. I am an entrepreneur, but I also am a person that will tell you that if you ask me, while safety is always an issue, it is not in the Black community. And here are some of the issues when I look at, be it Clark County, or I look at it being where you serve now. We are concerned about not just social justice, we are also concerned about economic opportunities, economic equality. So the things I hear you say, here are the issues and some of the concerns that I see right now when we talk about both of those issues, because it's great to say that people are worried about safety, but if people can't afford the homes they are living in, if you find that you have in here a growing homeless, and it is disproportionately Black and minority, then our issues are a lot more. And the city, in a lot of times, either help or hurt. And I'm gonna give you an example. Uh, we're roughly 13% of Clark County. I'm not sure what the breakdown is in your specific area, but let's go and look at the city of Las Vegas, where we stand right now. I owned an HVAC company. I can tell you, one of the concerns of equity is we are locked out of the opportunities to work with the city many times. The city is set up so they have their favored construction companies. So we either have a barely chance to be a subcontractor, and we have no chance to grow our economics in the Black community. I was back when they redid the school where Power 88 is, and they redid the school. And they sourced it. This was a Black school, and they sourced it to a large white construction company. And literally, I was one of the persons that came in and tried to help bring in more, at least some Black subcontractors. That is what is prevalent across the city right now, where you look at Black America. We don't want jobs, we want businesses. We want the opportunity to do business. And if you look at the city has locked out Black America on true opportunities to be business people, to work. Because we all know, from the state, from the government of the US government, to the state government, to the local government, the biggest redistributor of wealth are the governments. And if we are being locked out and there is no concern on equity of opportunity, and then you're talking about safety, all that means is we want to make sure we lock you out where we don't have you're not talking about us because we don't have the opportunities to live and grow and prosper. So let's talk about that, and we'll go to another issue. But I've seen historically, both with the city and I've seen with Clark County, that the participation of Black businesses, be it procurement, it could be something as simple as toilet paper or something as big as construction. We are not getting a level playing field and an opportunity because the good old boy system is alive and well. So give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, those are excellent comments, and the government should not be locking out anybody. I mean, when we put a project out to bid, everybody should be able to bid on it, and it is the best. It's usually the lowest bid and the most responsive bidder that gets that particular project. And if somebody comes to me and says, hey, the city of Las Vegas is discriminating against companies because they're Black and is locking them out, then I need to get that information so we can do an investigation and find out why that is happening. So I would not tolerate that on the Las Vegas City Council, and I wouldn't tolerate it on the Clark County Commission. it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. If you're the best person for that job, you should get it. And we shouldn't be locking out anybody based on their race.
It's not about, oh, somebody's locking up. Let me give you an example. I'm a $10 million company. I'm a $10 million company. I have the assets to go in and the connections to go in and have lunch with, and I have the abilities to go in, and I know I have the people who know everything. The systems are designed even now, so you have to go electronically through, and a lot of times we don't even know what's going on there. But if you look at it, you can't just say, oh, I gave it to the lowest bidder. If you do not have a defined objective of inclusion, that is the easiest way to lock people out and say, well, it goes to the lowest bidder. We have basic things you find. Those are designed to lock us out. They're not designed to bring us in. And if you look at the history of what's gone on, they're doing exactly what they should do. So, you know, I'm glad that you think that public safety, but there's a thing. They say by 2053, Black America will have no wealth. And that was before COVID-19. So it's probably accelerated. Much of the reasoning that we do not have that is because these laws that are supposed to be colorblind, they're colorblind to the rich. They're designed so the rich can be colorblind and say, we have diversity. They can combine and say, we're doing X, Y, and Z, but it is not inclusive of my community. And so you asked me, you know, public safety will probably be great for the folks who are sitting pretty and living well. But the people that I talk to, and I come in to talk with you are saying, whoa, there's no real desire to include our communities in the economic part of how the city is run. And that is systemic racism. That is the thing why people are, it's not just police brutality, it's systemic racism where we're being locked out of opportunities and told to be happy with it. So I'm gonna come back and say, when I talk to you, and this is the Independent Black Voters, and I thank you to be here, are you willing to put in a platform that is designed to increase participation of Black businesses in Clark County should you be elected? Because I'll give you another example. The stadium did the community benefits program for the stadium. They promised every community was going to rise with the tide. But I'm a person who went to the stadium authority and asked how many Black businesses were working in people, and they wouldn't even tell me the numbers because it was so dismal. We can continue to say, put our blinders up and say, well, we follow the rules, they're set up, everybody has a chance. When that's basically what drives systemic racism, that's what drives protests. That's why people are in the mode they are right now. They're tired of being second-class citizens. So I ask you that question, will you make a platform of equal opportunity that is not just a smokescreen of business as usual?
Well, I'll commit to you on this, Brian, that if I'm on the county commission, I will sit down with you and talk to you specifically about how is it that Black businesses are being kept out of Clark County Commission bidding processes, and how we can make sure that that does not happen. That I can commit to you, absolutely.
And I will hold you to that.
Absolutely.
I'm the president also of the Black Business Council, and one of the things we would like to do is create one. Understand, I'm not a minority. I want to talk about issues in the Black community. And many times, because we use diversity and minority, you ask me to celebrate my demise. So I appreciate, I'm gonna hold you up to that. And these are tough questions, so I thank you.
No, these are not tough questions either. So if you look at my track record when it comes to businesses as a whole, I have consistently worked to reduce taxes on businesses. I've consistently worked to reduce regulations and licensing. And If you come to me and you have certain issues that you think are a problem at the county when it comes to the county putting out projects for bid, we're going to sit down and talk about it and see if we can fix it. You have my commitment on that.
And I will tell you, we have problems, and I will take you up on that.
Okay.
Here's the other issue. Obviously, you're on the city council. Many people were out to protest the ordinance for people that were sleeping on the streets, in which it seemed and came across that this was an attempt, again, to penalize and criminalize people who are poor, people who are homeless. Now, I understand, I'll be first to say, there is a balance between business requirements, there's a balance between community responsibilities, there is a balance that should be taken. But far too many times we do things solely for business. We do things that really are designed for one group to do okay, while we don't have a real plan to handle the problems of right now homelessness, because it's going to get bigger, especially after COVID-19. It is predominantly minority and specifically Black. And I believe that more effort has to be put into not just creating a park to put them in, but coming up with solutions for affordable housing, coming up with solutions for dealing with mental health issues. But also, part of the reason that you have such a high degree of unemployment is because of systemic racism, is because of the fact that Blacks as a whole take on the blunt of last hired, first fired, and not being able to do business as businesses where we're employees instead of owners. So give me your take on that decision when it came over, because I was one of the people that came in to protest. I was one of the people that peacefully said my piece on that. There's a fine line between business opportunities and criminalizing the poor with no solutions for them. So I'll shut up. Give me your opinion on that.
That's a great question, and that's a topic we've been tackling for a long time. But I'll tell you, the 10 years I've been on the Las Vegas City Council, we have taken a leadership role in dealing with the homeless population in the city of Las Vegas and in Southern Nevada. We have spent millions and millions of dollars, for example, setting up the courtyard in downtown Las Vegas. We're the only one that's set up a facility in Southern Nevada where homeless people can go and get help, where they can get counseling, where they can get something to eat, where they can go someplace that's safe. We partnered with, we're right next to Catholic Charities, Shade Tree, the Salvation Army. The city of Las Vegas we have a whole section in our organizational chart to help homeless people. And that has been our number one priority, is trying to get people off the streets into a facility, whether it's our facility or a nonprofit facility, to get them help and get them out of their homeless situation. We work with people like Arnold Stalk, and we've supported his efforts to come up with affordable housing for our homeless veterans. And that partnership has been outstanding. So we have spent a lot of time and treasure and talent in dealing with the homeless population. And I'm very proud of what the city of Las Vegas has done. But we're just the city of Las Vegas. We can't do it all. We need help from Clark County. We need help from the state. We need help from the federal government. It's not just a city of Las Vegas boundary line. It's a Southern Nevada issue, the homeless population. And it's been our number one priority to help these folks. Unfortunately, what happened is we started seeing what's happening in other cities like Seattle and Portland. And if you go downtown, primarily downtown Las Vegas, but you can even go to the outskirts, homeless people they're sleeping on the sidewalk. They're urinating on the sidewalk. They're defecating on the sidewalk. They're they're in people's faces. They're mentally ill. They're sleeping in the gutter. That's inhumane to allow people to do that. They're sleeping on people's private property, and they're causing problems. They're setting up camps in some of the outlying areas, but it's primarily in the downtown area. And as a civil society, we just can't have people that 10 to 12 to 15 to 20 just all of a sudden camp out on a public sidewalk and make people walk around them, and the trash that they throw around. So we decided to pass this ordinance that you're talking about. And I know there was a lot of discussion, we're criminalizing the homeless people, but that is absolutely not the case. What we decided to do is we had to take control of individuals that have decided they're going to sleep and live in a public right-of-way. If you go to Seattle, Portland, it's chaos. It is absolutely chaos. So what we decided to do was pass this ordinance, and this ordinance set up these teams of individuals. It was going to be Metro, it's going to be a city employee, a social worker, and they were going to go around, and if somebody has decided they're going to live on a sidewalk in downtown Las Vegas, they're going to go up to that person and give them three options. Number one is, listen, you can't stay here. This is a public right-of-way. You have to move. And if they get up and move, then they move, and that's the end of that particular location. What they're also going to do is say, we have a facility we can take you to. We have a courtyard that we just refurbished. We're actually spending another $6 million to refurbish the facility that we currently have to put more facilities in there. So we're going to tell that person, we'll transport you to this facility and you can get help there. There's people that can help you with your situation, whatever that happens to be. And if that person says, yes, I want to go, then they're transported down there. So option number one is really to transport them to the courtyard. Option number two is they have to move on. But if somebody's going to sit there and say, I'm not moving, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to live in this spot, I'm going to cause chaos, I'm going to be a public nuisance in this particular location, I'm not moving, then they're going to go to jail. And when they go to jail, our vision was that we were going to set up a municipal court for homeless people. We have a municipal court for veterans. We have a municipal court for people that are addicted to drugs. We have a municipal court for domestic violence individuals, where those individuals go into a specific court to be adjudicated. They've been very successful. We wanted to send these people, once they're arrested and removed from that location, into these homeless courts, and again, try to get them help. And it was all about making sure people are not inhumane, living out in the street where they shouldn't be and causing chaos in our community. We can't have that, because we've already seen the public health issues in Seattle and LA and Portland are absolutely out of control. That's what that ordinance was about. It was not there to punish people. It was not there to the ultimate goal was not to take people to jail. That had to happen, because we can't have people sleeping out on the sidewalk. And we have had business people come down and say, listen, I have 2-3 homeless people that sleep right in front of the entrance to my business, and they're going to the bathroom there. I'm going to have to close down unless something's done. So this wasn't done for the business folks. This was done for everybody that had a stake in our community to have a civil society. And that's what that ordinance was about. Unfortunately, the COVID has kind of put a little damper on actually sending out folks to deal with these. And if you go downtown, you can see the outcome of that. Go across from the Union Plaza where the bus station is. There's 20 people out on the sidewalk just hanging out, sleeping, and they're causing trouble. Nobody wants to see that in our community, and nobody wants to see people living like that. That should not be the case. So I'm very proud that I supported that ordinance. I'm very proud that I've supported all the programs that we put together. And you go to any other local jurisdiction in Southern Nevada, and you're not going to find anybody who's done more than the city of Las Vegas trying to help people and make sure we have a civil community in the city of Las Vegas. And when I go to Clark County, I'm just going to take the same mentality, is that I will hope, and I'm going to work with our Clark County commissioners, and I'm going to work with you and whoever the stakeholders are to continue to help homeless people. That is our number one priority, but we have to make sure that we have a civil community also.
Well, thank you for your opinions. This is what I love about what I do as an independent Black voter. We talk without shouting. We give what we thought, and we respect each other. And I'm going to tell you, and I appreciate you giving me your opinion. Now, I'm an engineer by trade. I have an undergrad in electrical engineering technology. I have an MBA. So, and I've always thought of root cause. When I had a problem and I was trying to figure it, I had to figure out the root cause and fix it. I'm going to tell you the perception of many people, not just in the Black community, but across. Number one, you put a Band-Aid on it. Number two, it's the shell game. Move them around, but move them out of the areas that we don't want them in. Many people realize there's been a huge investment in Fremont Street. It is moving back, which is great to have huge investment in Fremont Street, but a lot of people believe these ordinances were set down to be directives and give the police the ability to move out certain areas for more economic growth, which understandable. There's two different sides. One of the things that the historic West Side is seeing because of this is a growth of homeless moving into their neighborhoods. So the shell was moved over into an area now that is predominantly minority, or no, used to be. It is changing too, but you moved the shell and you didn't fix the problem. There are ways to fix homelessness, because here's another fact. Every time we talk about it, and I want to say something. Everybody loves to talk about the veterans, and we should. They deserve our love. But every time we talk about something, we always want to talk about what we've done to the veterans. I'm a Black man who's not a veteran, who's concerned about many Black people who are not veterans. So when you throw up the veteran issue, a lot of times it just sounds good to everybody else, because that's just another door that's been locked on opportunity for us to get benefits. But let me go to what I wanted to get to. And here's the fact. Over 40% of homeless is not mental illness. They simply cannot afford, and they have to choose between living in a house and feeding their families. Our problems, and if we deal with the problems of homelessness, which means affordable housing, I think you'd find, if we are dealing at the root cause instead of Band-Aids and the shell games, that should be more important than coming out with ordinances to Band-Aid and hide and move the shells. Let me give you a thought. Our taxation. Right now, we have many people who own many houses, and they do a lot of renting, which holds up housing. It really gives a false value of housing. Maybe we should look at a tax structure where if people hold a bunch of housing, they're taxed more, so that it would literally drive down to the real price of housing, which, you know what, I own a house, but you know what, realistically, we need to get housing to a point where it's affordable, so that people who buy and flip are more encouraged to sell it at a reasonable price than to hold it and have 10, 15 units, and also drive up the cost of not just rent, but the cost of purchasing houses. We need to look at real ways to make affordable housing, even if it means building, doing whatever we can to create real affordable housing. And then you'd find safer neighborhoods, and you find less people living on the streets, because it's about to get worse. And it's about to get really worse in the Black community, like people have never seen before. We've been denied, through systemic racism, a lot of opportunities. We've been denied generational wealth, and the chickens are coming to roost. And I'm a person that believes, let's come up with the root cause and develop solutions, not Band-Aid it and make it sound good, But in all reality, certain groups and people are being locked out. We're just moving them out the way so we can't see what's happening. Just a thought. I really truly believe that too much is being put on trying to hide the problem or move it out to see growth in the city, but we're not concerned about the rest of the city, which are the have-nots. You talked about it, and San Francisco is the same way. San Francisco is horrendous because the simple reason is there's no affordable housing. San Francisco is in the same shape we have, and we're headed towards that direction if we don't truly figure out how to develop affordable housing. And there are ways to do it. If we focused on affordable housing instead of building housing parks, if we focused on affordable housing instead of doing some of the many things that we're doing now, at least we would start to contain and potentially drop down. A person making $7, $8, even $10, even $15 an hour cannot afford to live in this city anymore. And that's a shame. Your thoughts?
Well, you made a bunch of valid comments and some interesting comments and some good ideas. And we're not going to solve those today, but all I can tell you is when I'm on the Clark County Commission, I'm going to look forward to sitting across the table with you and 10 of the or 20 of the people in your particular independent Black voters network, and sit down and spend a little bit more time talking about affordable housing and the economic impact on homelessness and what the county. That's the specific part. What is the county's part in helping in the ideas and the comments that you just made? And I'd be glad to spend some time with you on it.
And as I said, if you win, I will hold you to that, because it is very important that we not still go to the same old people with the same old answers. You might find out there's some people who are knowledgeable and look at it a different way.
That's why I said at the beginning, public comment and being out the community is most important thing to me, because I have my own background, I have my own influences. I don't have the ones that you have, and the ones that the individuals that you represent. So I got to hear what your background and experiences are and what you think are the solutions, and that's how we get stuff solved.
I believe, and this is funny, when Tom Steyer was running for office, I asked this question and he took it nationally. And I told you earlier, I said that this is the federal government spends $500 billion on procurement. Black businesses get less than 1.8%. I'm pretty sure that model comes down to both the city and to Clark County. One of the things I'm looking for is people who realize that a stronger Clark County will happen when we have all races having opportunity. We all pay taxes, we all need to have opportunities in some way, even if it means redesigning the way we do business right now. We have to, and I look for that, we have to fix that problem, because if we don't, what we're seeing right now is just the beginning of the end. We have to fix fair and equitable opportunity, and we also have to fix our justice system. So, it's great I can talk to you because you're sitting there and in the city council, so you have history. And again, I wanted to talk to you, and I'm glad to be here because there are a lot of Black folks who don't want to talk, or they don't maybe concerned, they don't know you or spent the time to talk. And I'm a different fellow. I'm gonna talk to everybody and I'll make my conclusions from there. But my issues are social injustice, and my issues are income equality. Safety to me will come when you have social justice and income equality. Safe buildings, safe everything happens when everybody is getting a piece of the pie. So this brings me to my next question when I ask this. Obviously, you have a strong police background. One of the things in the Black community is there's a belief that we are over policed. A lot of that comes from the fact, again, economics, poverty, etc., and it plays into how people are policed. Give me your opinion from your perspectives of, and if you're in Clark County, you're running that area, what we need to do to improve the present system and bring balance when it comes to how we serve communities of color, but no, Black communities, when it comes to our interaction with the existing forces, police force.
Well, it really comes down to the one primary philosophy, which is community policing. That's really what it comes down to. Is you have to have a police department, and you have to have a police force that wants to be in a community, to partner with that community, to talk to the stakeholders, to talk to the neighbors, and find out from them what exactly are the social issues, what are the crime issues, what are the things that are causing them to feel less safe, to feel like they're going to be a victim of a crime. That's really the most important thing, is community policing. And I've been on I was on Metro for 29 years. I've been retired for 10 years now, so it's a long time ago. But in the 80s and the 90s, police departments didn't do a very good job of community policing. It was mostly the I don't know if you're old enough to remember Dragnet. The detectives there. Okay. Their basic motto was just the facts, ma'am. The police back then, where you give us the information and we don't really need you after that. We'll take care of it. We don't really need to talk to you once we get the facts. And since then, policing has changed. It's become more of a community policing model. It's been more of a problem-solving model, not just crime issues, but social issues. It's become more of a problem-oriented policing, or partnership with the community. And that's really been the recent foundation for policing, is partnering with the community. And I think the police departments here do a pretty good job of that. And in fact, when I was on Metro, when I was the lieutenant for in-service training, I had the police academy in-service training. That's when we started implementing community policing. We started training all our police officers in community policing and making sure we're partnering with the community. So we do a lot of that today. We should be doing a lot of that today. And another big part of policing is making sure that we have the best policies and procedures and standards. I'm one of the 25 commissioners on the Commission on Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies, and our job is to accredit police departments all over the country. So we when a police department comes to our commission and says we want to be accredited, they have to meet the standards that we have put together, and those standards are pretty tough. And a big part of those standards is community policing. So we have to have, from my standpoint, we have to have well-paid officers, well-trained officers, well-equipped officers. We have to have a police department that has the best policies and procedures, and we have to have a department that is committed to working with the community on solving problems, issues, and violent crime and property crime. And when I go around to talk to folks in Southern Nevada, and I've been on the west side of Las Vegas, I've been in plenty of sections of the city of Las Vegas, and every single one of them says, I want a safe community. Now, you're right, affordable housing is a big part of that. Having a good job is a big part of that. But from a local government standpoint, our number one function, in fact, if you look at our budget, it's about 60% of our budget is public safety, because that's what people demand. They want to make sure that there are police officers in their community that are walking around talking to people. That's why we work hard to make sure we have 2 officers per 1,000 at Metro, because that's the best way to reduce crime, is to have police officers in uniform talking to neighbors, building those relationships, and finding out how they can make their communities safer and feel safer. And that's what's important to me.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you talked about community policing, and I'm going to lump community policing, and I'm even going to talk about the firefighters. To have community policing, there should be a strong presence of the community. If there's a higher percentage of Black people that are dealing with the police, there should be a higher percentage of Black policemen who have a better understanding of their culture. One of the things that concerns me is police has become more of a close to $100,000 job. Many people are in there for the wrong reasons. And when I look at also the hiring, we don't have enough Black community policemen, not just in the Black communities, but throughout. And I use a perfect example of, it's not just the police, the firefighters. I looked at the last group of firefighters that came through Clark County, all white male, 100% white male. This is a $1 million job. It is a $1 million job. Systemic racism means that we have developed processes that allow that to happen. Not one person, it was almost silence. Not one person had a problem with that. And here's a question, and this is a big question, because like you said, I truly believe that our goal is to reduce the amount of expenditure for police, to reduce the amount of people being put in jail, to close down our jails, to have our judges sitting there looking for something to do, because we have changed the model to where we have more wealth equity, not just in the Black community, but every community, because those who have will not steal. Those who own their homes will not rob and kill. Those who have a light at the end of the tunnel will run towards the light. And unfortunately, we focus so much on lock them up, law and order, and we think that's the solution. It's not. We've shown time and time it's not. But a lot of the government, and this is when I'm going to talk to you, we are unbalanced in our hiring practices. We have put together processes to make sure we can look like we're fair and equitable, but we're not. Give me your thoughts again about the need to hire. Not just, we're 13% of the populace, but we need to hire more Black men and women for the police. And we need a significant amount more in the fire. We need to change the direction so that there are more than just the minimum in these types of jobs, because that's also part of the problems that we have with systemic racism, and part of the problem we have with a disproportionate amount of poverty in the Black community.
Well, when you're talking about police departments, fire departments, really even government in general, local government, it doesn't matter if it's police or fire, even civilian positions within the city of Las Vegas or even with Clark County. I mean, it's important that the employees of that organizations are fit a cross section of the community. I mean, that they should reflect the diversity of our community. And I don't have those statistics in front of me. I don't know how many minorities versus whites make up the police department or the fire department. I'd have to look those up. But you're right. These organizations should reflect the diversity of the community, and a lot of that has to do with recruiting. I mean, these organizations need to be in the minority communities, recruiting them, letting them know that these jobs are available, that these are the standards. This is what you're going to have to. These are the standards you're going to have to meet. But we want to help you try to meet those standards. We want you to know about these positions. So recruiting is really the biggest one. Is making sure that all minority groups know these employment options are available to them, and get them into the door so they can start testing just like everybody else. When I was at Metro, I was a recruiter for a couple of years, and we did that all the time. We would do general recruiting, but we would go into all different parts of the community to let them know, the Asian community, the Black community, the Hispanic community, to let them know that these jobs are available, and we want you to take a look at them. We want you to, we'll coach you. We'll let you know the physical fitness standards. We'll take you out to the high school, and we'll show you what the standards are. We'll help you do the sit-ups and the push-ups, and see if we can get you through the door and up to the next step. That's really the most important thing, is to let folks know that these jobs are available, and we want our organizations to reflect our community.
Okay. A little history about me. I told you I have a undergrad in electrical engineering technology, and I have an MBA. My first job.
So you're a lot smarter than me then.
Well, my first job was at Delco Electronics, which is part of.
Okay.
I say that because I was an affirmative action baby. Prior to affirmative action in Delco Electronics, the only person that worked there was a janitor, the lowest paid jobs. So affirmative action, it wasn't that I was less because I performed much better than people, but because there was no focus on affirmative action of things happening, nothing happened. And when they decimated affirmative action, you've seen back to the old things. We need commitments, and I'm going to talk to you about this. This isn't going to be our last discussion. I'm looking for commitments where base pay, where pay and performance is tied in certain groups. If you're in the fire area, if you're in the police area, that your pay is designed to your performance to bring equity for all groups. Not just, okay, I brought in women, I'm diverse now, yeah, even though it's all white women. Oh, I'm diverse, yeah, even it's this. We need to have commitments to put in measures that are tied to dollars, that are tied to performance, that drive the leaders to do the right thing. Because you said a key issue. If you don't know the numbers, you don't care about the numbers. If the numbers are tied to how much money you make or somebody else is making, they're going to know the numbers. And the numbers have to be high enough that they have to go out of their way to affirm the action of participation. Because we know what happens in construction. We tell the contractors, this is what your target is, but there is no penalty. They just say, well, we tried, shrug our shoulders, and they keep all the money. We have to get commitment from people that are coming into you to understand what's going on. If you want us to support you, there has to be real support for the Black community and other communities, because I'm not just talking about do for the Black. I'm talking about the Hispanic community. I'm talking about the Asian community. I'm talking about the issues that we have to open the doors so it's not the good old boy system. Because the stadium proved time and time again that when we ask people to do stuff without true measurements, they're going to keep it the same. They're going to keep the money in their pockets. And my whole thing, I'm saying, and I go back, if you want public safety, fix the problems with wealth inequality, which goes down with fix the systems. Instead of trying to look like they are fair and equal, make them fair and equal. So I challenge you that, and that's one of the questions that I will ask you, and I will, if you win, I'll sit down, but are you committed to put a focus on trying to design systems that are seriously inclusive to all people on the economic side of running these multi-billion-dollar businesses? Not just say, I don't know the numbers, and oh, we have systems here and we're colorblind and it is the lowest price. Because again, simply put, all of the people who have the money and the influence, they know the numbers. They know how to win. It's a rigged system. We know it's rigged. So are you committed to help us unrig the system and bring true equality of opportunity so that we can fight crime and we can fight the ills, homelessness, and we can bring higher public safety, not through police, law, and order, but through being the true America that I think we can, a melting pot that truly values people of all races and has to realize that we have an ill called systemic racism. It is alive and well, and while the and I'm almost finished, and while the statues may be the highlights, the true systemic racism is how we run our cities and how we run our businesses. Even as in the sense of when businesses work for the city, we should have requirements on them to make sure that they are truly diverse. So give me your thoughts on that.
Well, you brought up quite a bit there. What I'll tell you is, and you can look at my track record on the city council. You can look at my track record as a captain with Metro. If somebody in the community, including you, Brian, you come to me and say, I have a problem, I have an issue, I believe the county can solve that problem, I believe the county can have a big impact on that issue, I want to sit down with you and dig deep into it. So I'm not the kind of guy that just shoots off just says I'm going to commit to something. I need to sit down and look at the numbers, the analytics, the analysis of it, the strategic part of it. So what I'll commit to you is when I'm on the Clark County Commission and you call me up and say, I have this specific issue that I believe the county can have a big impact on and making it better, I'll sit down with you and we'll crunch the numbers. We'll look at it and we'll see what the county can do to help you out, whether it's affordable housing, whether it's income inequality. But it has to do a couple of things. Number one, does Clark County have a role in solving that issue? If it does, then we need to sit down and do some analysis and find out how we can fix that, how we can solve that problem. You'll have that commitment from me.
Great. Clark County can lead by example. And
absolutely.
I say that perfectly. Here's my thing. In 90 days prior to this, we will endorse a candidate. And we'll be talking some more. I told you I don't endorse a candidate because they're Republican, because they're Democrat, because they're independent, because they're libertarian. I look for candidates that are committed to make change happen and can win and make change happen. So I'll definitely can say this. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being open and honest and not just talking to me, but listening to me, because we got a lot to say. And if you're not listening to us as a candidate, then you'll never win our vote. So I'm going to ask you one other question. I'm going to let you take it home and tell people what you think and how you think. You know, this is one. When I say the words Black Lives Matter, when I say the word systemic racism, give me your thoughts on that.
Well, when you say Black Lives Matter, I mean, Black Lives Matter. They do. Anybody in our community that oppressed, they need to have a voice, and I need to listen to what they have to say. The Asian community has a lot of issues that they want to talk to me about. Hispanic community has a lot of issues that they want to talk to me about as an elected official, and I'm committed to sit down and talk to them. I'm committed to sit down and talk to the Asians, to Blacks. I'm Greek. I'll talk to the Greek community. It's really about making sure that people that feel their local government is not responding to them, that we get together and talk about why that's occurring and how we can fix that. And that's really how I look at local government, is what can local government do to people that have a concern with what's going on in Southern Nevada. And I'm going to listen to what they have to say. And if they have some valid, articulate issues that we can nail down and do something about, I'm all for it.
Great. That's all I can hold. I'll hold you to it. So here's the thing. I'm going to have you Basically, give your contact information, give your condensed speech on why we should vote for you, and then I'm going to end this one and look for us to have a future conversation. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Brian, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and all the members of your organization. And I will tell you, I'm a 40-year resident of this community. I've spent that 40 years trying to make sure this is a great place to live, a safe place to live, a place that people are proud to live in. Las Vegas, Clark County, whatever parts of Southern Nevada you live in. I really enjoy local government because you can really, you can actually help people in local government. I have people that in my ward, really all over Southern Nevada, that have my cell phone, and they call me up and say, hey, the lights are out at the park. We can't take our dogs there. Can you fix the lights? And that's what really local government is all about, is really talking to folks and finding out what's bugging them, what's causing problems with them in their particular neighborhood, how local government can fix it. And I've had a great track record. I think I have a great reputation of really going down and helping folks and trying to solve problems. Once I listen to what they have to say, that's really the most important thing. So I've been successful on the Las Vegas City Council for the last 12 years. I've been reelected 3 times. I plan on winning the Clark County Commission race and continuing basically representing the same part of Southern Nevada, the northwest part of Clark County. I'm working very hard. I'm campaigning. I'm out all the time. I'm talking to you and obviously asking for your endorsement. Be honored to have it. Again, my name is Stovas Anthony. My email is stavasanthony@gmail.com. My cell phone is 702-812-0123. You can call that anytime. My website is Stovas Anthony for District C.com. You're going to find me on Facebook and Twitter and any way I can to get out there and talk to folks and find out what they're interested in. Because a lot of it isn't what I'm interested in. It's what the people that live in Clark County in Southern Nevada, what are they interested in? What is it that they want from local government? What is it that they see local government is doing well and not doing well? And that's my job, is to get into those particular issues. So thanks for having me, and looking forward to talking to you again.
Well, I thank you, Councilman Anthony. I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to the independent Black voters. Again, as a Republican, many people are concerned to talk to us. As a Democrat, many people are concerned to talk to us. But many people do not realize the bulk of the people now identify themselves as independent. We vote for the person, not the party. So when you come in here and you talk, you are at least giving yourself a chance to earn our vote. So I have to give you many kudos there, especially as a sitting councilman. We have some tough times right now, folks. We are in a world that is in disarray. We must figure out how we can fix it. The African American community has many problems. Any problems that America has, we tend to deal with them 100-fold worse. We have high unemployment right now. We have a pandemic that is running wild. We don't know what is going to happen. But as I said, Black power is a 3-legged stool requiring social justice, economic might, and our political agenda. When you lose one, you lose all. We must be educated voters. We must not be owned by any party. We must talk to everyone. We must negotiate with everyone. That will reignite our power. I am nonpartisan. I am independent. I am focused on social justice and economic opportunity for the Black community. When we all focus, we all win. So we'll talk to you some more, Councilman Anthony. We thank you very much. It means a lot to be part of the Independent Black Voters. I'm going to encourage you to join the group. It is very multicultural. We have Republicans, Democrats. We speak our minds. We try to be respectfully. But if you want to get the message out, sometimes you just need to pop on there for 30 minutes, 30 seconds, a minute, and give a rant. Tell people who you are. I've told and I've encouraged all of you all. We have talked to over 30 candidates. They want to hear you talk between now and then. Silence speaks volumes. But if you're willing to get out and talk and listen and get feedback, that means you may have a chance to earn our votes. Thank you again. This is the Independent Black Voters on Facebook as we continue. Know your candidates and be an independent voter. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hold on for a second.